Turns out we're not always overeating because we're sad or because we're bored. Sometimes we're just under or overstimulated. And other things I've been learning on this weight loss, weight management journey where I try to learn how to actually eat correctly and exercise and all that without triggering traumas or eating disorders or other stuff and not becoming overly obsessed with everything. But first of all, I invite you to stim, walk around, do your laundry, do your dishes, because this one's going to be a little bit longer, but I promise you it's going to be worth it. That's called knowing your audience. So about a month or so ago, I don't know, I have time blindness, I had posted a video where I was talking about how I want to learn how to manage my weight in a way where I don't become overly obsessive or really sad or overwhelmed, where I'm not constantly gaining and then losing this like 10 to 15 pounds, where I don't feel controlled by food or my emotions. And I've learned a lot since then, and I've also lost about 6 pounds. So what's the secret? Now, trigger warning, I am going to talk about counting calories, but you can either skip that part or you can hear me out because I'm going to be speaking about it in a way that did not trigger my disordered eating. If you're first starting out, I would recommend only aiming to lose like a half a pound a week, because otherwise you're going to overwhelm yourself. Number one, find a reputable website that has a free calorie intake calculator. So depending on your weight and your height and some other factors, it's going to tell you how many calories you can have in order for you to be in a calorie deficit so that you can lose half a pound a week. Once I understood how many calories I could have within a day and still be in a deficit so that I could lose weight, I then started to meal plan in a way that was friendly towards my executive dysfunction. A real quick side panel in true ADHD fashion, but it makes sense for the plot. I learned that not only do I overeat when I feel emotionally dysregulated, but I also overeat when I feel over or understimulated. And we love that stimulation. So how might that be showing up in your own life? Number one, do you catch yourself overeating whenever you feel emotionally overwhelmed and or overstimulated? Number two, do you catch yourself overeating whenever you're feeling bored and or understimulated? And are you using food to stim? Because the process of eating is both a physical stim to get the food to your mouth and then an oral stim to chew the food. So I started by brainstorming and writing down all the different foods that I like eating for snacks and meals and all the drinks that I also enjoy. And I started separating them into groups. And I also started doing some research on foods and drinks that are orally stimulating, foods that are spicy, sweet, crunchy, drinks that are carbonated. So I wrote all that information down, and then I started to write out the calories that were in each type of food or drink. From there, I started to make a meal plan that factored in different types of needs that I might have. Because I am ADHD and I seek novelty, sometimes the things that I want change from day to day or moment to moment. So instead of giving myself a set in stone meal plan, I ended up giving myself a menu. So I started to separate different meals and snacks into different caloric categories. Here's a list of snacks or drinks that are 0 to 200 calories. Here's a list of snacks that are 200 to 300. Meals that are 300 to 700. And then I posted that list on the fridge. And then I made a grocery list and I went and got that food. What has helped me with my executive dysfunction is having plenty of options between both whole foods and things that I can just pop in the oven or the microwave. Because sometimes I don't feel like cooking. So now when I feel like I want food, I will gently ask myself, okay, are we actually hungry or are we just understimulated? I do this with compassion. I'm not trying to interrogate myself. And sometimes I do tell myself, yeah, I am feeling bored and understimulated and I just want something to chew on or something to drink. And because of those moments, 0-calorie carbonated water and gum have become my best friend because it gives me that happy mouth feeling. I've also been told that there are necklaces that you can buy that are specifically for chewing, and I am definitely going to buy some. Now, if I am actually hungry, but I still want that mouth stimulating feeling, I've been reaching for some type of crunchy vegetable. Carrots and hummus, iceberg lettuce. When I want something sweet, I'll have a fiber brownie because it's both sweet and I'm getting my fiber. Because believe me, I know the next day when I did not have a fiber brownie the day before. Also, if you're feeling understimulated, getting a fidget toy or just going for a walk or just doing something to get you lightly moving is going to be really helpful. Now, what's helped me to not overeat whenever I'm feeling overstimulated or emotionally overwhelmed. So like I said, I've been compassionately checking in on myself when I feel like I need to eat or drink something. And during those check-ins, I do try to make sure to ask myself hey, are you angry, tired, irritable, sad? Is something going on emotionally? Do you feel overwhelmed, overstimulated? And if the answer is yes, or I don't know, I try to sit with myself for a while and give myself compassion, love, nurturing, try to regulate my nervous system. And I know that if I wait for 5 or 10 minutes and I'm still feeling hungry, then I probably am actually hungry. Now, I know that this could become something that becomes problematic and almost like using food as a reward, and I'll get to that, but I want to double down on the absolute life-changing things that can happen to you once you start getting into a daily practice of regulating your nervous system. Because I promise you, a lot of the times when you are overeating because you're feeling overwhelmed or overstimulated, or like your emotions are like out of control, a lot of that has to do with the fact that your nervous system and your body are dysregulated. So if you get into a daily practice of regulating your nervous system and doing things to get back into your body, I promise you the likelihood of you wanting to reach for things that are not the best for you whenever you're feeling overwhelmed isn't going to happen as much, because you realize that doing that is going to cause you to feel more stressed out, more dysregulated. It's going to break self-trust with you. It's going to make you feel really upset with yourself and criticize yourself. Whereas when you do things to regulate your nervous system and your body, you are going to build self-trust. You are going to feel nurtured. You're going to feel taken care of. You're going to be able to trust yourself when you do have actual hunger signals. Because when you get into a practice of regulating your nervous system and your body, you get familiar with the feeling of having a regulated nervous system and body, so that when you do end up getting dysregulated because of work or the kids or whatever it might be, you will be able to notice like, ooh, I don't feel as peaceful as I did. I don't feel, something is off. I feel like I might be in dysregulation. And so since you already have been practicing how to get back into regulation, instead of reaching for things that are just going to dysregulate you further, you're going to be like, oh, well, I know what I can do to get regulated again. I'll just breathe, or I'll go for a walk. I'll spend some intentional time with my pets. I'll, meditate, whatever it might be. So on to the next thing. So how can we meal plan and do this without getting overly obsessive while also factoring in our executive dysfunction? Once you know how many calories that you can eat, once you know all the different options of different things that you can eat throughout the day, something that has really helped me with my executive dysfunction, as well as not over analyzing like if I ate enough or if I need to eat again, is setting timers throughout the day. And something that really helps with object impermanence is you could put the food or the drinks out on the counter the night before or on a specific shelf in the refrigerator. And as the day goes by, you will be able to physically see how much food or drinks that you have left. And so the timers have personally helped me because I know that I'm eating every 2 hours on the hour. Because I used to feel like I only had two modes. I would forget to eat all day and then I would overeat, or I would be so concerned with the idea that I might not be eating enough and therefore I'd be overeating because I was eating too often. So the timers and then having the food set out really helps me kind of avoid all of that overthinking, overanalyzing. I already have an idea of what I'm going to eat or different like alternatives that I could eat if I don't want that specific thing. And so it's taken a lot of the guesswork and all of the effort out of like the whole equation. And honestly, it's been really simple for me. Like it's still been kind of hard. So anyway, I'm sure I have more ideas and thoughts on this, but I'm running out of time. If you have any questions or you'd like to add to this conversation, just let me know in the comments. Otherwise, my name is Sarah. I'm your favorite self-experimenting coach or companion, and I help get people reacquainted with just being a human again. So yeah, you're an amazing person. I love you, and I hope you have the best day.